Good morning, students. Welcome back to the next session in UNIX programming. So we have going through our syllabus very quickly. So yesterday, that's why I have reposted the previous class for your reference. And today we will move into some new topics, very important topics, which are very useful when you are going to write shell programming, right? So today we will see what is a shell, types of shells, and some type of meta characters. What are the types of meta characters we use in shell programming, and all the remaining stuff we will going to learn. So usually when you are talking about a shell, generally when you observe the Unix architecture, so generally the thing is a user will interact with the shell, and with the help of that shell he will do the work with the operating system. So that's what here also has specified, that a shell provides you with an interface to the Unix system. So with the help of shell only you can use the operating system, that is the Unix operating system. And how it works: a shell will receive some input from the user, it executes the commands or the programs based on that input. So whatever the inputs you will give to the shell, that means the shell will receive the input, and the shell will process it, and it will execute them depending upon the inputs. If there are any arguments you have given, depending upon the arguments and whatever the command you have given, it will produce the output. That is, it gathers input from you and execute programs based on the input. Then when a program finishes executing, it displays that program's output. So whatever you have given, that output will be displayed on the screen. Okay, so that means overall we can call shell as an environment in which you can run our commands, programs, and shell scripts. So whatever the commands, or if you write any shell programs or any shell scripts, those are all can be run on the shell itself. So shell, don't worry, what is a shell is nothing but the terminal where you are going to work. So whatever the commands we have entered into the terminal, that place, the space is nothing but the shell environment, you can call it as. And there are generally 5 types of shells available. Those are Bourne shell, then corn shell, born again shell, C shell, and TC shell. These are the 5 shells generally a Unix or Linux or any flavor of Unix will use. These 5 types of shells will use. So Bourne shell, as the name Bourne shell is because this Bourne shell was developed by Stephen Bourne in the AT&T labs. So because it is developed by him, he named the shell behalf of its with his name. So it is also, whenever you write program, the Bourne shell is always represented by 2 letters, that is called SH. So SH, whenever you find SH, that is nothing but the Bourne shell. Okay, and as in the previous classes, whenever I have used any command, I have entered those command at the command prompt with the dollar symbol. So this dollar symbol represents it is a Bourne shell. So see, observe, whenever you find a dollar symbol, that means you are working in Bourne shell. Okay, and this Bourne shell has a little bit history, like it is compromises of 3 shells. We will call it as a Bourne family. So this Bourne shell, corn shell, born again shell, all the 3 shells belongs to the same family, that is Bourne shell family. Okay, and then we'll go to the next shell, that is corn shell. And as I said, SH Bourne shell, and whereas KSH is the corn shell is represented by KSH. Again, this corn shell is developed by a scientist known as David Corn, which he developed the corn shell in the Bell Labs. Okay, and again here also, because the corn shell also belongs to the same family, it uses the same command prompt dollar here also. Okay, so and again, as I told you, this shell is represented in programming as KSH. So whenever you find SH, it is Bourne shell. Whenever you find KSH, it means it is a corn shell. but both, because these both shells belongs to the same family, they use the same command prompt, that is dollar symbol. And this is born again shell, that is the third type of shell. So it is it has some additional features than the corn and born shells, that is command line editing. So command line editing is nothing but whenever you are executing a program, you can give some commands and you can edit them, and those are the things you can perform on by using this born again shell, bash shell. So it can the most powerful feature is it can read the commands from the file called scripts. So it will read the scripts, that means the script may compromise of or contains several commands, and each command will be executed from the script. So this is the feature which is in born again shell, this is called bash. So all these three shells belongs to the same family. Okay, then C shell. So C shell, it is named C shell because it is something like a C programming language. So whatever the scripting language you use will follow the same C language syntax. So whatever we have studied the C language, the same syntax will be followed by this C shell also, which is developed by a scientist known as a Bill Joy. Okay, so this Bill Joy has developed this C shell, which uses some syntaxes. Most syntaxes are similar to C language. Okay, and then TC shell, as this is the advanced version of C shell. Again, normal C shell doesn't have the command line editing. This TC shell have that command line editing option. So this is the advanced version of C shell. So it is also used like it can be also used like bash shell, that is born again shell. So command line editing it is allowed at C shell also. Okay, these are the 5 shells we will generally use in the shell scripting. Okay, and this is the second concept. This is already we have doing, for the syllabus sake I am telling again, this is command line structure. So command line structure is nothing but the structure, how the command can be presented to the shell environment. So generally what we have seen is, suppose for example we have seen a command like ls minus L. So what is this ls minus L command? Ls minus L is used to display the long list of files. So whatever the files available in your directory, current directory, those all files will be displayed with the long list. That means it will display the type of the file, the permissions, the owner of the file, the group of the file, then the size of the file, then followed by the date and time of creation, then file name. This is the long list, this is called the long list. So simply it won't simply displays the file name, it displays with all the contents of the file. This is the long list. So here what is this is, if you observe, the command has 3 parts. Whatever the commands we use till now has 3 parts. The first part is the command, and the second part is nothing but the options, any options you are using with this command. Suppose as I said, ls also is a command, but we are not using any options with this ls. So simply ls, if you type ls, then what happens, all the file names will be displayed, file names and directory names will be displayed. When you use some options like minus L, I am using here. So whenever you are using minus L, this is an option. So with this option what I can do is I can display the total information of a file. As I said earlier, the type of the file, permissions, and group name, owner name, date and time of creation, all the things you can display the things of the all files. And then the last thing is the arguments. So arguments are nothing but, suppose for example, if some commands are there like cat command. So simply cat is a command, we all know that. So without anything after this cat command, it won't work. Okay, so what do you know about cat command? Cat command is used to either to create files or to display the contents of the files. So cat command is useful for 2 things. First thing is cat can be used to create files by using what, cat greater than some file name, it can be used, or simply you can write cat f1. So what it does, cat f1, it will display the contents of this file f1. So these are the 2 uses of this cat command, but without anything after this cat command, it won't work. So what we are providing is, we are providing some arguments to this cat command. So what are those arguments? Either greater than symbol with file name or simply a file name. These are all called arguments to the command. Okay, so generally in every command in Unix will have three parts. That is, the first part is nothing but the command. Then the second part may or may not exist, so options you may use or you may not use. And the third part, arguments, again if required only, that means you may or may not use the arguments also. This is the structure of the command in Unix, right? So this is the syntax we need to follow. What is that? Command minus options, then arguments. So these options or arguments are not mandatory, so you may or may not use these things. So as the second point is, all commands are case sensitive, as we have discussed several times that in Unix everything is case sensitive. That means there is a big difference between small lowercase letters and a uppercase letter, so that is the important thing. And hyphen symbol we use to specify options, so whatever the options we use, minus L or minus WC, so whenever you are using options, that means you are using hyphen symbol. So hyphen symbol is used to specify options. So options are generally preceded by a hyphen, and for most commands more than one option can be used together. Yes, that is also very important. So options, that is, there is no restrictions that you need to specify only one option with the command. Like whenever you are discussing WC command, WC, what is this WC command? Word count command. So WC minus C means what happens? It will count the number of characters. If you write CW, that means you are displaying the number of characters as well as number of words. Similarly, you also can use L also, that is number of lines also you can display. So here we are using more than one option, so that also you can do with this command structure of the Unix. This is the command structure. So if you get a question in the exam, what is the command line structure, you can write all the stuff here. So that is, command is having three parts. That is the command, then the options, and then the arguments, and hyphen symbol is used to specify options, and several options can be used together, and some you can also write some examples also, right? And then we are coming to the meta characters. So meta characters we have discussed, a small part of meta characters we have discussed till now. Like we have discussed about star and question mark. I hope that you all remember what is this star and question mark, then square brackets, then not symbol. These are all we have already used, and or we already used these meta characters. We will see in brief now how they are classified and how they can be used. We will see now. Okay. So special characters or meta characters have a special meaning to the shell. So whenever you are writing a program, whenever you are using one of these meta characters, they have a special meaning, and each meta character is designed for a specific purpose. So every meta character has a specific purpose. They can be used as a wildcards to specify the name of the file without having to type out file name's full name. So without specifying the full file name, you can just use some meta characters to display that file. And so many options are available with meta characters, and each and every meta character we will discuss in briefly now. Okay, so generally when we are discussing about meta characters are basically broadly categorized into 5 categories. Those are file name substitution meta characters, then IO redirection meta characters, then process execution meta characters, then quoting meta characters, and then finally positional parameters and special meta characters. These are the 5 5 classifications done for meta characters. So in Unix, total meta characters will fall under any of these 5 categories. We will see one by one what are those meta characters and what are the uses of those meta characters. We will see one by one. So don't get confused. Meta characters are nothing but, in C language meta characters, we may call them as a keywords. So as you are aware of that, in C language there are 32 keywords. Those keywords have special meanings. So for that meaning, except for that meaning, we cannot use them as a file name or something else. So similarly here also, every meta character in Unix have a special purpose and meaning, so that you can use them whenever it is required. Okay, and those are classified into these 5 categories. We will see each category one by one. So this is the first type of meta character category, that is file name substitution meta characters. So there are, in this category there are 4 types of meta characters. The first one is star meta character. So star meta character, as I said earlier, any number of characters, null or no character will also be displayed. So whenever you are using star means from 0 to anything, so any number can be treated as a star. Okay, so that is the first meta character we are going to discuss, right? And then then question mark. As I said, question mark will always matches with a single character, whatever the character it may be, but it only matches with a single character, whereas star matches with any number of characters. That is the big difference between star and question mark. So star means from 0 to any number of characters, star matches, and whereas question mark matches any single character, only one character it matches. Then the third one is the square brackets, or you can call it also as a range. So this square brackets means a choice of any one character from the enclosed list. So whenever you specify some characters in the square brackets, it will matches one character, but those characters will be from that range only, from the specified list only. So whatever you specify within those brackets only will matches, but only one character it matches. And then the last one is the not, that is quite opposite to the range. That is, it won't matches any single character which is specified in the given brackets. So if you specify 1 to 5, it won't matches 1 to 5. Remaining things it will matches, but only one character, that you need to remember. So we will see each example for examples for each one of them. The first one is star we are using here. So ls s star. So here see, ls is used to display the list of files, but we are here using is ls. After that ls we are using star, then s then star. That means we are looking for all the files which are having the starting letter as s, after that any number of characters or any character. Okay, so the file may contain 2 number of characters, 3 number of characters, 5 number of characters, or 50 number of characters, whatever it may be. But what are the things we are looking is, we are only looking for the files which are having s as the starting letter and followed by anything. So that will displays what it displays. You just observe, it displays some files. Those are samp.c, sample.c, san.class, s.c, sp1.c, spell. So these are all the files which are having s as the first letter, and after that these all files, if you observe, are having different numbers. Like samp.c is having only 4 letters in the file name, sample is having 6 letters, san.class. So if you also consider the extensions also, it is having 7 characters, 8 characters. s.c is only having one character, sp1.c is having 3 characters or 4 characters with the extension, and spell is having only 5 characters. So here what we have done is, we have only displayed all the files which are having s as the starting letter. Remaining things we won't bother, because we have used star. So star is nothing but 0 to any number. So here if you observe this s.c, the first letter is s, and after that there is nothing. Okay, if you won't consider that extension, so only s is there. So s after there is nothing, so 0. So even that also is going to display in the monitor or the terminal, right? This is the first star meta character. Then question mark. Here see, question mark. Here I have used the same example I am using, ls, then followed by s, question mark, again question mark, then I am using p, then I am using star. Okay, now what here happens is, written clearly, I am using ls then s question mark p star. So observing this, can we tell the length of the files? We can't, because here what we have specified is we are looking for all the files those which are having s as the starting letter, then followed by any two characters, then the fourth character must be p. After that it may contain anything. That is the thing we are specifying here. So I think you are getting the point. We are here specified that s question mark p star. So s we have specified means the starting letter must be s, then second character is a question mark. So question mark matches any single character, so it may be anything but a single character only. Then third place again we have specified question mark, that means third place also any single character and it may be anything but it should be only one character. And the fourth character is p, that means the fourth character must be p, otherwise it won't display. After p it may have anything, any number of characters it may have, or any nothing also it will be going to display. So if you observe the output here, what you have done, so it displayed these files, that is samp, because first letter is s and the fourth letter is p. In between there is two characters only, that is a and m are there. After that p there are, it may be anything, so dot c is there, so therefore it displayed. Here also sample, first letter is s, fourth letter is p. After p there are something, but we won't bother about this. Then again sample.java. So all the four files are having first letter as s and fourth letter as p, and after p there are any number of characters, so it may be 4, 5, 6 or nothing also, it is going to display. So this from this example what you need to understand is question mark always matches any single character, only one character it matches. Okay, then I am using range, that is square brackets. Here I have used ls space, in square brackets I have specified a comma e comma I comma o comma u. So what I am going to do is, then after this I have used star also. Okay, so what I am going to do is, I want to display all the files which are having starting letter as a or e or I or o or u, that means ovals. So any file which is having oval as the first character, after that it may contain anything, because we are using star here. Okay, so now see the output. So it displayed files which are having ovals as the first character. So a dot out, yes, a is the oval. R, second file, s, a is oval. arm.c, again armstrong.c, then ec.c, because e is also an oval. Then if2.c, because I is also oval. If example.c, again inc.c. So all these files are having either a or e or I or o or u, then star. So the first letter only we are going to concentrate. The first letter should be either a or e or I or o or u, and the remaining things we won't bother. So this is the way you can use the range. Okay, and then the fourth character is not. So the same example I have taken here, I have used the third example here again. So here, like in the third example, I have used additional thing, that is not, that is exclamatory mark. So here what happens is, this thing will displays all the files which don't have a or e or I or o or u, because it is quite opposite to the third one. So what happens now? It won't display any file which is starting with either a or e or I or o or u. It won't display. So now you see the output. No file is starting with ovals. So no file name is starting with ovals. So it is displaying all the file names which are not starting with ovals. That is, in this way you can use not. So these all meta characters are used to search file names. So file name substitution, meta characters are 4 types. Those are star, question mark, square brackets, that is also called range, then with a exclamation mark, that is not. So these 4 we can call them as a file substitution meta characters. This is the first category in the meta characters. And I am going to the second category, that is called IO redirection meta characters. So these are also we have discussed earlier, but we don't know that these are IO redirection meta characters, and these are again 4 types: greater than, less than, double greater than, and double less than. So what is the greater than symbol? It is used to send the output to a specified file. So generally whenever you are executing a command, that command will give some output, and that output will be displayed on the terminal. Okay, now whenever you are using a greater than symbol, that output can be stored in a file also. That how we can store that, we will see. Okay, then less than symbol. So less than symbol is used to take the input from the specific location but not from the keyboard. So generally what we'll do is we will provide the input from the keyboard. That is the general thing what we do. But whenever you're using a less than symbol, except keyboard, you can provide the input. So you can provide the input from a separate file also. That we can do. How we will do that, we will discuss. Then double greater than, we already know cat double greater than, that is called appending a file. We are discussed in the earlier classes to save the output in a particular file at the end of the file without overwriting the file. That is the important thing. So whenever you are going to append it, appending means adding new content. So already there will be some content in that file, but you won't disturb that content. What you will do is you will add some more content at the end of the file. That is called appending. That is called double greater than. And double less than, to take the input from the standard input file. So standard input file is nothing but a script or something else. So whenever you put some one or more commands in a script, and you can provide those scripts as an input to a command. That also you can do. How we will discuss, right? So these are all 4 meta characters are IO redirection meta characters. So here see the first example I am discussing about the single greater than symbol, that is ls minus l s star. So what it does, it will displace all the file names which are starting with s. That is the long list it will displace. That means it will displace all the information of the files, like type of file, permissions. See the output is type of file permissions, then number of links, owner name, group name, then file size, date and time of the creation, then last it will displace the file names also. Now what I am doing is I am using a greater than symbol, and I am using some file name here. List is the file name. So what happens now, it won't displace the contents on the screen. What happens then, it will stores the output in a file name known as a list. Got it? Generally whenever using this command, what happens, it will displace all the file names which are starting with s. But what I have done is I have redirected the output to a file known as a list. So what happens now, see, so what I have done is ls minus l s star greater than symbol list. So now this list file will contains the output of this ls minus l s star. So what is the output? See, the output contains these 3 files. So all the files are starting with s. After that we won't bother. So long list of files will be stored in the list. So that means that output will not be displayed on the screen. That is the important thing you need to remember. Okay, then double greater than, what is double greater than, we will also discuss. So for that what I have done is I have used the second example. Here I have used a special command known as echo. Echo command, don't get confused. Echo command is nothing but a print command in Unix. Normally printf command, in C language we use printf command. So whatever you want to display on the screen, we use printf command to display that content. So here in Unix instead of printf we are using echo command. That's simple. Okay, so now what I am doing is echo line 1. I want to so normally if you use echo line 1, then on the screen line 1 will be displayed. That is the content. Line 1 is not any files line, first line. That is, line 1 is nothing but a content. Or you can also simply write echo your name. So for example echo MVR, then echo MVR means MVR will be displayed on the screen. Okay, so that is nothing but echo. Okay, so what I have done is echo line 1 greater than list. So single greater than, what happens, that line 1 content will be stored in the list file, list file. So I have also checked here, cat list means I am displaying the contents of list file. So because I have stored line 1, so line 1 will be displayed. Then now what I want to do is I want to add some more content to the list file. So adding means appending. So appending we are using double greater than symbols, that is echo line 2. That means line 2 content, the name of the, here the line 2 is the content, so it will be added to the list. So initially list contains line 1. Now after appending it also contains line 2. Got it? This is the thing, it happens. So normally double greater than symbol is used to appending a file. Appending means if there is already there is a content in that file and you want to add some more information, and that information will be added at the end of the file. That you can do with the double greater than or append character. Okay, then the third case is less than symbol. So here less than symbol, as I told you, it will takes the input from any file, except from keyboard it will takes from any other point. So if you write cat CSE, cat less than CSE, it is nothing but cat CSE. So without using less than symbol also, you, what is cat CSE? Cat CSE means you are going to display the contents of CSE file. So whatever the content CSE file will contains will be displayed on the screen. So less than is nothing but you are redirecting the contents of CSE to cat. So what cat will do? Cat will display them on the screen. Okay, very simple. So simple, without using also you will get the same output. So redirecting means we are not giving any input from the keyboard, we are giving the input from the CSC file. That is I want to specify here. Okay, then here cat double greater than double less than symbol. So here see again, this double less than symbol is used in special cases. For example, if you write cat double less than EOF, EO is nothing but end of file. It is a command. For example, end of file is specified as EOF, right? So what happens is until you enter EOF, this command will accept input. So see, cat double less than EOF. After that I have entered rise, I have entered Prakasham, I have entered CSC, then I have entered department, and after that I have entered EOF, that means end of the file. So once you enter end of the file, that means it understands that now the end of the file is occurred. So therefore what it will do is it will displace whatever the things you entered till now. So what I have entered rise, Prakasham, CSC, department. So these are 4 lines will be displayed on the screen. Okay, here also we are not specifying or providing the input from the keyboard, we are providing from a special command EOF. This can be stored in a script and you can provide this script as the input to this cat command. That also you can do. That will be done in while we are writing shell scripts and everything, we will discuss there. Okay, so these are the first two categories we have discussed till now. So each category is having 4 meta characters. The first one is file substitution, means we are discussed about 4 things, that is star, question mark, range and not range. And then in the IO direction we have discussed about greater than, less than, double greater than, double less than. These are the 8 meta characters we have discussed till now. And in the next class we will going to discuss the other 3 categories and what are those categories it's having, with examples we are also going to discuss. Okay.